Matajis? Shankarshanaha, Lord Balaram, the supreme attractor, Taha, them, Krishnasya, of Lord Krishna, Sandeshaihi, by the confidential messages, Hridayam, the heart, Gamaihi, touching, Santvayam, Santvayam asa, consoled, Bhagavan, the Supreme Lord, Nana, of various kinds, Anunaya, in consolation, Kovidaha, expert. Translation purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivinoda Swami Srila Prabhupada. The Supreme Lord Balarama, the attractor of all, being expert at various kinds of consolation, consoled the gopis by relaying to them the confidential messages Lord Krishna had sent with him. These messages deeply touched the gopis' hearts. Purport. Srila Jiva Goswami quotes the following verses from Sri Vishnu Purana, which describes the messages Lord Balaram brought from Krishna for the gopis. Sandeshai Sama Maduraihi Prema Garbair Agravitai Ramena Avasita Gopyaha Krishnasyati Manoharai. Lord Balaram consoled the gopis by giving them Lord Krishna's most and charming messages, which expressed sweet consolation, which were inspired by his pure love for them, and which were without a tinge of pride. Srila Jiva Goswami also comments that the use of the name Shankarshana here implies that Balarama attracted Lord Krishna to appear in his mind, and in this way showed Sri Krishna to the gopis. Thus Balarama consoled Sri Krishna's beloved girlfriends. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti comments that Lord Krishna sent various messages. Some instructed the gopis in transcendental knowledge, others were consolatory, and still others revealed the Lord's power. Besides given meaning, the word Hridayam Gamai also indicates that these messages were confidential. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshur Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Vishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Tadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Namah Pankajanabhaya Namah Pankajamalini Namah Pankajanetraya Namaste Pankajangraye Yanta Pravishya Mama Vacham Imam Prashuptam Sanjeeviti Klashakti-dhara Svadhamna Anyanstahastacharana Shravanatvagadibi Pranam Namo Bhagavate Purushaya Tubhyam. Hare Krishna. The temple management felt that Krishna's, Lord Balaram's Raslila pastimes with the gopis should not be discussed publicly in the class. So instead of discussing all the verses, I will read out from the Krishna book. Before that, I will give little explanation so that we can conclude this chapter without discussing confidential pastimes publicly. Last Tuesday I was giving class, so little bit was left out. I'll finish it up. I was speaking mostly about Krishna's smiling, right? I mentioned that if you want to explain Bhagavad-gita in 2 sentences, we can explain Krishna is smiling, Arjuna is crying. Tamuvacha Hrishikesha Prahasan Iva Bharata Senayor Ubhayor Madhye Vishidantam Idam Vachaha. In this regard, Srila Prabhupada comments that Krishna was smiling because all the while they were very, very jigri dost, very close friends. Now the friend became a disciple. Then he was crying. That's why Krishna was smiling. Vishwanath Chakravarti comments in this regard that Krishna actually wanted to laugh very loudly. Oh, क्या हो गया आपको? ऐसा क्यों? Sa shochati sa sudra. Prabhupada says, many times Prabhupada quoted, those who lament, they are sudras. A devotee of Krishna means he is always happy. If a devotee is morose and crying, ye nahi mila, wo nahi mila, I didn't get this, I didn't get that, then Prabhupada said he is a rascal. So devotees should not lament. We should always be smiling. Like that. So Krishna wanted to laugh loudly. Then he thought, it seems, Arjuna will feel very bad if I laugh loudly. That's why he's only smiling mildly. Like that. Otherwise, Srila Prabhupada was always very joyful. Bhanamananda Prabhu was saying that once he was telling how his father was a very rich man. But unlike in India, the wives, they don't wait for their husbands to come and after that they eat and all that stuff. So all the wife and children, they would eat and then they finish and they would keep a note, whatever is there in the fridge, heat it and eat, heat it and then eat or something like that. So his father was a very rich man, it seems. They were having a private swimming pool and all that. But his father would come back and then he would eat kurukure. Kurukure. I don't know, Prabhupada was like, he found it so hilarious that Prabhupada was laughing and he fell down from the chair, it seems. He would eat kurukure. He's eating only kurukure. Like that. There is a very beautiful verse in 3rd canto. We can always remember at least the translation. Hasam Hare Avanataya Atiloka Tivra Shokashu Sagara Vishoshanam Ativudara Sammohitarya Rachitam Tanmayayate Brumandala Munikrita Makaradvajasya. This is a shloka from 3rd canto, 28th chapter, that it says that whenever somebody is lamenting or somebody is crying, right, what they should do? Prabhupada advises that one should meditate on the smiling of Krishna. Why? Prabhupada says that people are crying nowadays so much, they are crying so much that the oceans have formed. The oceans have become salty because of the tears of the people who are crying out of lamentation and lacking of so many things, hankering. The tears, they went and mixed with the oceans. That's why they became salty. That is, otherwise they have, sugarcane ocean, milk ocean, dahi ocean, alcohol ocean. But this useless ocean, we cannot use it, it's so bad. Why? Because of the tears of the people of Kali Yuga. But Prabhupada says that if you meditate on the smile of Krishna, whenever there is a cause for crying, instead of crying, one should meditate on the smile of Krishna. Then Prabhupada says, this ocean of tears will become dried up. Then you are always smiling, even in the midst of all troubles. Right? We don't do that, Instead, we prefer to cry than, meditate. If there is a problem, you should simply meditate. So, take a picture of Radha-Rasbihari. Radha-Rasbihari is always smiling. Right? Smiling lotus face of Radha-Rasbihari. Right? Many of our members, they compliment. Oh, you're Radha-Rasbihari. He's always smiling. So they it's very bewitching smile, very beautiful smile. So we should meditate on the smile of Krishna, Radha-Rasbihari. Right? Then all the troubles will go away. Whenever somebody feels very lusty, bitten by, attacked by Cupid, right? One should meditate on the eyebrows of Krishna. Eyebrows of Krishna. Makaradvajasya. Right. So these are some of the solutions given for our problems in life. Right? So there are material problems, spiritual solutions. Right? So that is the beauty of Krishna's smile. We should always remember Krishna's smile. Of course, we should start this. You can actually recite those verses on a regular basis. Sanchintayet Bhagavato Charanarvinda. It starts from there. Meditating on the lotus feet of Krishna. Then what happens? If you meditate on the lotus feet of Krishna, what happens? All that, like Sukadeva Goswami, Lord Kapila says that meditating on the lotus feet of Krishna is equivalent to when in our heart there is a mountain of sins. What is the enemy of a mountain? Vajra. So, meditation on the lotus feet of Krishna acts like Vajrapat. Just like Vajrapat breaks the ocean into pieces. Indra used to break. In the same way, the meditation on the lotus feet of Krishna acts like Vajra and destroys the mountain of sins in our heart. That is why it is, Yash Shaucha Nisruta, Sharat Pravarodakena, Tirtani Murdhani, Adikruta, Shivo Abhut, Dhyatur Manaha Samalasaila, Nisrushta Vajram, Dhyayat Chiram Bhagavato Charanarvinda. This is the verse. So the lotus feet of Krishna, from lotus feet of Krishna only, the Ganges water is coming. Right? Ganges, which is flowing very beautifully. And that water is kept by Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva's name is already Shubha. Shiva means auspicious. But Lord Shiva became more auspicious by keeping the water of Ganges on his head. Then, Dhyatur Manaha Samala Saila, Sa Mala Saila. means the sins, the mountain of sins is crushed by the meditation on the lotus feet of Krishna. That is why one should meditate on the lotus feet of Krishna continuously, right? So that's why Prabhupada writes in 3rd canto, 5th chapter, that the miracles of meditating on the lotus feet of Krishna, I cannot even start explaining with enthusiasm and eagerness, right? So we should actually sometimes take out time, and there is no need to imagine. So we have beautiful lotus feet of Krishna, Radharasbihari. We should look at the picture and see, and then remember, like, this is what Lord Balaram is doing, that the remembrance of Krishna is more powerful than Krishna's personal presence, because the gopis were feeling separation from Krishna. So Lord Balaram is consoling them by narrating the wonderful activities of Krishna, the wonderful messages of Krishna, the wonderful form of Krishna. So that is why in the purport it is mentioned that Lord Balaram brought Krishna in his mind, and that the gopis could visualize Krishna like that. That is why Prabhupada writes, so there is that is why in the association of devotees, we should always discuss about Krishna, right? That is real association, that is real friendship. Not that when devotees meet with each other, we discuss about mundane things or politics or one's own problems. So that is not real friendship. So real friendship means discussing about Krishna. Oh, have you read that verse? Right? Have you read that verse? This is what Prabhupada has written. Like that, we should discuss, because nobody can read entire Prabhupada books and remember also. So sometimes I say some verses and all. They where is this verse, Prabhu? I've never heard it before. Like that, some devotees, they come and tell me. So we should, like that, there are many things. That is why Gajendra says, Ekantino yasya na kanchanartham vanchanti evai Bhagavat prapanna ati adbhutam tavacharitam sumangalam gayanti ananda samudramagna. Right? The pure devotees of the Lord, they don't desire any material things from the Lord. Even though Gajendra, he is circumstantially, he is in trouble, and then he is asking some help. But otherwise, pure Ekanti Bhakti. What is Ekanta Bhakti? Right? Ekanta Bhakti means performing devotional service only to Krishna all the time. Not that I do for some time, then I take a break, and then that is Ekantika Bhakti. So that such Ekantika Bhaktis, Vanchanti evai Bhagavat prapanna, they don't ask anything. They don't ask anything from the Lord. Then what do? Ati adbhutam. Krishna's pastimes are most wonderful. Ati adbhutam tavacharitam. So many fools, they say Gajendra is an impersonalist. He didn't mention anything about the Lord. But they don't understand. So whose pastimes are Ati adbhutam, right? Only Krishna's pastimes only, right? They are talking, so he is talking about Krishna, Gajendra is talking about Krishna, Vishnu, right? Prabhupada comments, Madruk Prapanna Pashupasha Vimokshana. In that verse, Prabhupada says, Pratyak Drishe Bhagavate Brahate Namaste. That Brahate Namaste, Prabhupada says, it represents Krishna. So Gajendra is praying to Krishna. Right? That is why he is saying, Ati Adbhutam Tavacharitam Sumangalam. Sumangalam is most auspicious. Then Gayanti Ananda Samudramagna. The devotees, they glorify They sing all the time when they meet with each other, and they merge themselves in the ocean of bliss. So Prabhupada says, unless the devotees are free from material desires, they cannot experience the bliss of wonderful pastimes of Krishna. So if you have material desires in our heart, it's very difficult. So that is why there is one very beautiful verse from 4th canto Bhagavatam, 9th chapter. Bhaktihi muhuhu pravahato tvaime prasango bhuyad ananta mahatam amala shayanam enanjasa ulbana vuruvyasanam bhavabdim nesye bhavad guna kathamrita panamatta. You can go and read. Prabhupada wrote a very beautiful commentary. I will try to repeat a few sentences of Prabhupada. So Prabhupada is writing, those people who think that they can perform devotional service without associating with ISKCON, they are in hallucinating. They are hallucination. It's impossible to perform devotional service without associating with ISKCON devotees. Right? Then Prabhupada says, Dhruva Maharaj is praying to the Lord that, my dear Lord, please keep me in the association of pure devotees who are constantly engaged in pure devotional service 24 hours. Bhaktihi muhuhu pravahatam. Like Prabhupada says, Ganges water is flowing continuously. Even if there are so many obstacles, they crosses over, and then Ganges water is flowing continuously, constantly, in order to merge with the ocean. In the same way, devotees should perform devotional service 24 hours in a day without a break. Right? There is one thing, na? What do you do for relaxation? Something like that. Right? What do you do? Somebody asked Prabhupada, what do you do for relaxation? Prabhupada said, our whole movement is relaxation. Right? Well, when I was coming from outside, Mukund Madhuru, I was associating, I was asking, do you get holiday for attending Mangala arati and all? No, it's 24 hours, 7 days in a week, 365 days, no holiday for Krishna consciousness. Oh, really? How it is possible? Every day you have to attend Mangala. Every day, Guru Puja. Right? But we don't get bored. Like Brajar Babu, I think he must be attending 40 years. Right? So, there is one verse, Nityam Nirikshmananam Yadyapi Dwarakaukasham Na Vitrupyantihi Drushaha Shriya Damangam Achyutam. Right? Even though Dwarkavasis, every day they are seeing Krishna, they are never tired of, seeing Krishna. Like that, devotees like Brajar Babu and all, I see, they come every day for Guru Puja. He is not thinking, so I kitna dekega har din. Right? Right? You are not thinking like that, right? Every day he comes, even though it's old age, some physical problems may be there. Why? Because that eagerness to see Krishna, right? That even though we dress every day, I know which is the dress and how it is like that. But still, there is an anticipation how the Krishna will look today in Darshan Arati. So that eagerness, so that eagerness should be there. And then 24 hours, Prabhupada says. Then what about your liberation? Prabhupada says, devotees are not bothered about liberation because they are constantly engaged in the service of Krishna. Just like Ganges water is flowing constantly. In the same way, devotees are constantly engaged. Then Prabhupada says, one should be just like a person who is drinking alcohol every day. He gets intoxicated. Right? Somebody asked Prabhupada, how does one become a devotee? How does one become a devotee? Then Prabhupada counter questioned, how does one become a drunkard? Then Prabhupada replied, by drinking every day. Right? By drinking every day. In the same way, Prabhupada said, by constantly chanting in the association of devotees, one becomes. So Prabhupada says, just like a drunkard becomes intoxicated by drinking every day, we should become intoxicated. We should become addicted to hearing the wonderful qualities of Krishna. Nesye then Prabhupada says that if you do like this, Prabhupada, in Golok Vrindavan, and then, also we will do the same thing. Then he gave a very beautiful example, like unripe mango and then ripe mango. Right? So unripe mango is also called mango. When it is become ripened, that is also called mango only. But it is more tasty and delicious. Right? Most. Once Prabhupada was there, so our Govindasi Mataji, because Prabhupada said mangoes are the king of fruit. So he is very fond of, eating mangoes, Prabhupada. So Govindas Mataji wrote a letter to Prabhupada. Prabhupada, please come to Hawaii. Very beautiful mangoes are available. When Prabhupada went, there are no mangoes. Like that. So the devotees would call Prabhupada, mangoes are there, please come. Like that. So Prabhupada says that only condition for a mango to become ripened is stick to the, remain fixed with the tree. In the same way, become attached to ISKCON. Then somehow or other we will become ripened. That is for sure. If you can't do anything, Prabhupada said, take prasadam and stay in the temple. Like that. So, that is the beauty of Krishna consciousness. So, Prabhupada writes in 7th canto, 5th chapter, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Pad Sevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakhyam Atma Nivedanam. In the Smaranam portion, I always tell this purport one should read at least once in a month. Prabhupada's purports. Very long purport is there. At least 20 pages purport is there. Because this is our life. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu. Right? This is our life. So we will become very enthused to do all these 9 activities if you read the purport again and again. I try to read on a regular basis the purport and then become energized. I should do this, I should do that. So Prabhupada writes in a Smaranam portion that one should do research. One should do research into one particular form of the Lord. That is number 1. Number 2, one should concentrate on a particular object and then free the mind from thinking, feeling and willing. Retract the mind from thinking, feeling and willing. Number 3, one should concentrate on the particular form of the Lord that you have researched. Right? Number 4, Dhruva Anusmriti. One should constantly, for a long time, think of the form of the Lord. That particular form of the Lord. And then number 5, one should awaken likening to that particular form of the Lord. And then narrate, find out the pastimes of the Lord, think about the pastimes of the Lord. All this, Prabhupada, these are the 5 stages of Smarana. Smarana. So, by this, Prabhupada says, so this Prahlad Maharaj, he's achieved the perfection in Smaranam. For even a fraction of a second also, he would think about Krishna. Constantly he was thinking about Krishna. Prabhupada writes in 10th canto Bhagavatam, Krishna book only, personified Vedas, prayers by personified Vedas. Prabhupada quoted Sridhar Swami saying that my Sridhar Swami is praying that, my dear Lord, as a part and parcel, as an eternal servant of you, it is my duty to think of you all the time, 24 hours. But being in a conditioned state, it is not possible for me to think of you all the time. So I am praying to you, my dear Lord, that please let me think of you at least for some time. Right? For some time. So this is, that is what Lord Balaram has done. That, by narrating all these wonderful pastimes in his messages and all, the gopis' smaranam is already so much, it has increased so much that Krishna was present in front of them. So that's how they were, consoled. They were consoled. Otherwise, because in the conditioned stage, the mind refuses to think about Krishna. Right? Even while chanting also, we would like to think about so many other things except Krishna. Right? So, कितने पुराने बातें याद आ जाते हैं, right? 40 साल पहले जो हुआ है, suddenly, किसी के साथ झगड़ा हुआ, वो सब याद आ जाता है. But except Krishna, everything else comes, right? So, but we should, if you practice, this is the 5 things, we should do research, right? Many times I told this, Janma karma chame divyam, evam yo vetti tatvataha, tyaktva deham punarjanma, naitimam etiso Arjuna. Then vitaraga bhayakroda, manmaya mam upashyata, bahavo jnanatapasa, putamad bhavamagataha. What is jnanatapasa? What is jnanatapasa? Jnanatapasa, tapa vicharanena. There are so many tapasyas are there, going into the forest and abstaining from eating and sleeping and so many things. Those austerities are not important. They are for Mayavadis and Jnanis and all. Devotees should not do all this, severe austerities and penance. Prabhupada writes in Bhakti-rasam Sindhu, it will make your heart hard if you perform too many severe austerities. Our only austerity is to wake up for Mangala and follow 4 regulative principles. That is our austerity. Other remaining, is it okay? So, but Sri Ramanuja says that Jnanatapasa means doing research about the transcendental nature of Krishna's birth and Krishna's activities. Making a deep study, how Krishna appeared, how Krishna performed all these activities. Did Krishna lie? All these, there are so many misconceptions about Krishna. We should make a lot of, deep research, and then be fixed. Then we fixed that Janma Karma Chame Divyam. Janma Karma Chame Divyam. So Krishna's birth and Krishna's activities are transcendental. Then what happens? These 3 verses are a set. We should understand. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam satyava bhajamyaham mama vartman vartante manushya parth sarvashaha. As you surrender, I reward. So Ramanuja explains that those devotees who, after doing Jnanatapasa, are fixed in the this understanding that Krishna's birth and activities are transcendental. Krishna told, saying that as you surrender, I reward. So I will make your birth and your activities also are transcendental. Our birth, if you understand, our birth and our activities also become transcendental. Those people who think that Krishna's birth and activities are mundane, Krishna says, I will push them into cycle of birth and death again. And not only that, Mad bhavamagataha. What is the nature of Krishna's nature? Vitaraga bhayakroda. Right? He is free from attachment. He is free from bhaya. He is free from krodha. We also will become free from attachment, free from anger, free from bhaya, free from krodha. Like that. Vitaraga bhayakroda. Like that. So this is how we should spend our days, thinking about Krishna, doing research, about Krishna. So we have, Prabhupada said, I have given you so many books that lifetimes are not enough for you to study. It will take you lifetimes to study all Prabhupada books. Prabhupada himself said like that. Right? So, in order to understand Krishna, we should, read Prabhupada purports, very thoroughly, again and again, again and again, again and again. Somebody asked Prabhupada, after you are gone, if I want to understand, something which I have not understood, what should I do? What did Prabhupada say? Huh? Prabhupada did not say, go to my God brothers. Right? Prabhupada said, read my books again and again. You will understand. Right? This is my own experience. Certain things which I have not understood. Because I read again and again same chapter. Then I don't get bored also. Like 4th canto, 24th chapter, I read it so many times. I like it so much. It's a by heart ho gaya pura. Rudra Gita, like that. Some chapters I just memorized like that. Then after some time, reading, Prabhupada reveals the meaning of the verses in your heart. Then remembrance comes automatically. So the secret is remembering Krishna, reading Prabhupada books, again and again, again and again, again and again. I am a very less intelligent person. That's why I have to read many times. But for some people, you can easily, maybe immediately understand like that. So this is what I want to say. So this is what Lord Balaram, helped them to remember Krishna, and then they became very absorbed, and then they were seeing Krishna. That's how their hearts became pacified. But Krishna's sweetness is unlimited. Right? Krishna's sweetness is unlimited. There is one very beautiful verse from Krishna Karnamrita. So Krishna's pastimes are so wonderful, are so wonderful that Krishna himself becomes enchanted. What to speak of gopis? Krishna himself becomes enchanted by hearing his own pastimes. This is the beauty of Krishna's pastimes. That is why, what is the meaning of this book, Krishna Karnamrita? Paramahansa Prabhu, you know? Huh? You know what is the meaning of Krishna Karnamrita? Krishna Karnamrita means this is a nectar to Krishna's ears. That book, he is nectar to the Krishna's ears. Why? Because Krishna's pastimes are like that. Right? Krishna, this Bilumangal Thakur also, he narrated many pastimes in his poems in, Krishna Karnamrit. Right? So, he composed one very beautiful verse. Kamaniya Kishora Krishna Mugdha Murte Kalavenu Kvanita Adrita Anana Indo Mamavachi Vijrumbitam Murare. Madhuramneha Kanika Pika Pikapi. Just see beautiful verse. The Krishna is beautiful. He was looking so beautiful. Krishna, Kamaniya Kishora Mugdha Murte. And then he's enchanting to all the three worlds. His beautiful lotus face. Mugdha Murte. And then Kalavenu Kvanita, then he himself is enjoying his own flute vibrations. Kalavenu Kvanita, and then his face is decorated with this beautiful flute all the time. right? And then, mama vachi vijrumbitam murare, you know, madurimnaha kanikapi kapi kapi. This sweetness of Krishna, Madhurya, is so much, is so vast. You know, Krishna's, Bilamangal Thakur is saying that I cannot actually describe Krishna's sweetness. It is ocean of sweetness. Krishna is ocean of sweetness. If I can get a small particle of a particle of a particle, if I can get it, then I can describe, I can describe Krishna's sweetness. Like that he was saying. So Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami wrote a commentary on this book. He says that Krishna's sweetness can be experienced only by love. The more we love, the more sweetness we can experience. And he quoted from Chaitanya Charitamrita Adilila that only Srimati Radharani can fully experience sweetness of Krishna because she has so much love. Right? So then if you cannot describe the sweetness of Krishna is so vast, then why are you trying? Because it is required, because those devotees who are suffering from separation from Krishna, if they hear the sweetness of Krishna, their suffering will decrease. Right? Will decrease. And then Murari, the meaning of Murari, so he's not actually killer of the Mura demon. That recently, Krishna's incarnation, Krishna killed Murari. But before that also, he got the name Murari. So Murari means the devoid of ugliness. Mura means ugliness, devoid of ugliness. Another meaning Gopal Bhatta Goswami gives that Mura means enviousness, conceitedness, hypocrisy, all bad qualities. One who destroys all these bad qualities is Murari. Then also another meaning of Murari is, what is the significance of Mura demon? What was he doing in Narakasura's kingdom? You heard, na? Narakasura vada ho gaya na? What was the significance of Mura demon? Mura demon, he was actually, expert in putting pashas all over the kingdom. Pasha means ropes. Any enemy would enter the Pragjyotishpura, they get arrested by those pashas. So by his mantra shakti, he arranged these pashas all over the kingdom. If anybody tries to enter, they get caught by these pashas. Like that, we also are in the Pashupasha. We are Pashupasha. Pashubuddhi. We are. So Murali means, another meaning Murali. Murali means one. So Krishna destroyed this Mura demon's pashas by his chakra, and then he killed Mura demon. That's why he is known as Murari. So in the same way, this Murali, so will destroy the pashas in our heart. In our heart. That is called Murali, Murari, like that. Anyway, so we will read out. So the Prabhupada, please remember, there is a commentary also on this topic that Balaram danced with the gopis, but the set of gopis Balaram danced, they are different from the gopis Krishna danced with. So that understanding we should have. Otherwise, Prabhupada, somebody asked Prabhupada, what is the relationship between Balaram and Radharani? Prabhupada became like a lion. Said, you don't have qualification to ask that question. Prabhupada, was shaking in anger, it seems. We should be very careful, rasavasa. Right? Like that. When the gopis were talking in this way, Their feelings for Krishna became more and more intensified, and they were experiencing Krishna's smiling, Krishna's words of love, Krishna's attractive features, Krishna's characteristics, and Krishna's embraces. By the force of their ecstatic feelings, it appeared to them that Krishna was personally present and dancing before them. Because of their sweet remembrance of Krishna, they could not check their tears and they began to cry without consideration. Lord Balaram could, of course, understand the ecstatic feelings of the gopis, and therefore he wanted to pacify them. He was expert in presenting an appeal and thus treating the gopis very respectfully. He began to narrate the stories of Krishna so tactfully that the gopis became satisfied. In order to keep the gopis in Vrindavan satisfied, Lord Balaram stayed there continuously for 2 months, namely the months of Chaitra and Vaishakha. For these 2 months, he kept himself among the gopis and he passed every night with them in the forest of Vrindavan in order to satisfy their desire for conjugal love. Thus, Balarama also enjoyed the rasa dance with the gopis during these 2 months. Since the season was springtime, the breeze on the bank of the Yamuna was blowing very mildly, carrying the aroma of different flowers, especially of the flower known as Kaumudi. Moonlight filled the sky and spread everywhere, and thus the banks of the Yamuna appeared to be very bright and pleasing, and Lord Balarama enjoyed the company of the gopis there. The demigod known as Varuna sent his daughter Varuni in the form of liquid honey oozing from the hollows of the trees. Because of this honey, the whole forest became aromatic, and the sweet aroma of the liquid honey, Varuni, captivated Balaramji. Balaramji and all the gopis became very much attracted by the taste of Varuni, and all of them drank it together. While drinking this natural beverage, Varuni, all the gopis chanted the glories of Lord Balaram, and Lord Balaram felt very happy, as if he had become intoxicated by drinking that Varuni beverage. His eyes rolled in a pleasing attitude. He was decorated with long garlands of forest flowers, and the whole situation appeared to be a great function of happiness because of this transcendental bliss. Lord Balaram smiled beautifully, and the drops of perspiration decorating his face appeared to be soothing morning dew. While Balaram was in that happy mood, he desired to enjoy the company of the gopis in the water of the Yamuna. Therefore, he called Yamuna to come nearby, but Yamuna neglected the order of Balaramji, considering him to be intoxicated. Lord Balaram became very much displeased at Yamuna's neglecting his order. He immediately wanted to scratch the land near the river with his plowshare. Lord Balaram has two weapons, a plow and a club, and he takes service from them when they are required. This time he wanted to bring the Yamuna by force, and he took the help of his plow. He wanted to punish Yamuna because she did not come in obedience to his order. He addressed Yamuna, "You wretched river, you did not care for my order. Now I shall teach you a lesson. You did not come to me voluntarily. Now with the help of my plow, I shall force you to come. I shall divide you into hundreds of scattered streams." When Yamuna was threatened like this, she became greatly afraid of the power of Balaram and immediately came in person, falling at his lotus feet and praying thus, "My dear Balaram, you are the most powerful personality and you are pleasing to everyone. Unfortunately, I forgot your glorious, exalted position, but now I have come to my senses and I remember that you hold all the planetary systems on your head merely by your partial expansion on Shesha. You are the sustainer of the whole universe. My dear Supreme Personality of Godhead, you are full of six opulences. Because I forgot your omnipotence, I have mistakenly disobeyed your order, and thus I have become a great offender. But my dear Lord, please know that I am a surrendered soul unto you. You are very much affectionate to your devotees. Therefore, please excuse my impudence and mistakes, and by your causeless mercy, may you now release me." Upon displaying this submissive attitude, Yamuna was forgiven, and when she came nearby, Lord Balaram wanted to enjoy the pleasure of swimming within her water along with the gopis in the same way an elephant enjoys himself along with his many she-elephants. After a long time, when Lord Balaram had enjoyed to his full satisfaction, he came out of the water, and immediately a goddess of fortune offered him a nice blue garment and a valuable necklace made of gold. After taking bath in the Yamuna, Lord Balaram, dressed in blue garments and decorated with golden ornaments, looked very attractive to everyone. Lord Balaram's complexion is white, and when he was properly dressed, he looked exactly like the white elephant of King Indra in the heavenly planet. The river Yamuna still has many small branches due to being scratched by the plowshare of Lord Balaram, and all these branches of the river Yamuna are still glorifying the omnipotency of Lord Balaram. Lord Balaram and the gopis enjoyed transcendental pastimes together every night for 2 months, and time passed away so quickly that all those nights appeared to be only one night. In the presence of Lord Balaram, all the gopis and inhabitants of Vrindavan became as cheerful as they had been before in the presence of both brothers, Lord Krishna and Lord Balaram. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of 65th chapter of Krishna. Lord Balaram visits Vrindavan. Haribo. Prabhupada, once, during Krishna Balaram temple construction, they were delaying so much. So when Prabhupada came, he wanted to meet Yamuna Mataji. And then Prabhupada was chastising both of them, Gurudas Prabhu and Yamuna Mataji, so much. So, because temple getting delayed. And then Prabhupada called Yamuna Mataji, come and give report that she was not actually coming before Prabhupada. Then Prabhupada asked why she is not coming. But she is afraid. He would chastise. Prabhupada sent a message. You remember Lord Balaram, dragged Yamuna. Like that, I will drag this Yamuna also. If she doesn't come. Then she came running. Hare Krishna. Any questions, comments? Okay, Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Jai.